Hey, good morning everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for March 17th, 2017. Happy St. Patty's Day. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. The ES continues to hold above the 2371 level. That's the FOMC key level here from March 15th. This pivot right here, 76.5, is the most important pivot up here on the chart, and price right now is kind of holding just above that area, forming a very tight range here since the last afternoon. And at the moment, we're still trending up. This thing is building energy. It's holding above this pivot at the moment. And really, it's either way at the moment. I still think any pullback, still likely a buying opportunity for a squeeze. And of course, if we start pushing through 2382 pretty soon here, we could start to run the stops that lead to a push and test of 2401, followed by a move to the next edge. And the next key level is going to be 24.5. So right here, this is the previous month's high. That's the 25% of the previous month's range extension there. That's the what I call R25 on the PivotBoss pivots. So should we push through that pivot, the next upside level will be the 24.5 key level by the end of the month. All right, let's take a look at the intraday time frame. Here's an intraday chart right now. I referenced the 2382 level just a moment ago. That's this level, really 2381.5. But you have this real clear trading range here, 73.5 to 81s. And right now, that's kind of the fade the edges type of range at the moment. It's building energy. So should price start to push through this 2382, it could be a clear path to the recent edge at 2389, followed by a continuation toward that 2401. Now again, down below, we do have very clear 2371. This is the level that I mentioned yesterday, that since we were rejecting the previous high, we'd likely see a move into 2371. We got very close getting to 73.5. So I still believe that we still have a shot to test 2371 and perhaps go through it before finding some sort of support. So at the moment, 2382 is going to be very important. Above it squeezes. Failure to hold above that level drives this thing into the next level below, which is 2371 and 5-day VPOC at 2368. All right, let's take a look at crude oil. Here's a look at crude. We have a gap up here. Looking at the daily chart with the monthly pivots. So looking at this chart, you can see the previous month's range right here. We got to break through that previous month's low. It closed right at 25%. Here's 50, 75, 100% expansion of the previous month's range. I call that the S100 PivotBoss pivot, and since it's a monthly chart, this would be the MS100, so the monthly S100. And we hit it, bounced, and we have that tail that forms. So this is what I mentioned before. If price can hold at 49.70, then the expectation would be that we climb toward the midpoint of this impulse move and perhaps as high as 51.71 to 52. However, any bounce into as high as that zone will still be considered a selling opportunity for a potential move to new lows. So right now you see the previous session here had a tail that formed, but bulls are still defending. Higher lows day over day and higher highs continue to be seen. So this is still pushing up despite what this tail looks like. We're now trading in the tail at the moment, which is rejecting that rejection, double rejection. And at the moment, higher lows still need to be seen here for a push higher. Now, one thing to keep in mind with crude, and I know I'm going over this a little bit more extensively here, is because we're right at a point here where we could see a move either way. And the bounce in this rejection here implies we could see a little bit more, but when we start to see the sell-off, you'll likely see the stops get run through these recent lows. But this is the level to watch here. This is the previous month's close and previous week's close and previous week's low, about 48.5. Coming into that area could still offer an opportunity to bounce, because that's where bulls are currently defending off that edge for a shot at higher highs. So even if we do pull back, there could still be a shot that bulls defend and squeeze one more time before the ultimate decline occurs. So we'll keep an eye on this one right here, but overall the flow is still to the downside with a short-term counter trend move occurring at the moment. Let's take a look at the intraday. Here's the intraday chart. You can see here getting a push up on a gap into recent resistance 49.60. That's an important resistance at the moment. You have 48.42. That's the FOMC level. And so rejecting 49.60 at the moment. So rejecting this area would suggest a return back to this support. Coming into this support would again suggest that bulls want to defend it for a shot higher. I've mentioned before, even a pullback this low could still offer a nice swing buy, and even as low as this 49.70 still. That's the last line of support. You can see that clear LVN. You can see that it was resistance, became support, major key level for us. So even if we come this low, it could still be a buying opportunity on a short-term basis that could mature into a swing move. So keep an eye on that one as well. All right, let's take a look here at the NQ. The NQ has continued nicely higher on a higher time frame chart. We talk about the push into 40, rather the 54.42 level, and we got into 54.40 this week. We've since pulled back from that low. Here's the ultimate resistance, right? That's 5400. So any pullback into that zone should still be considered a buying opportunity for new highs, and yesterday price came into it and was defended. Right now we have a very small range right now, 11 handles overnight. So an 11 handle range right now, that's 31% of average daily range. It's very, very narrow. Still, 54s are important into 53.95. That could still be a buying opportunity. Failure to hold that zone, auctions price back to 53.61. All right, let's take a look at the intraday. Here's the intraday chart. Looking at this recent rejection off that 54.40 here. Very clean rejection, a pullback. And now pullback's kind of being defended off this edge. So at the moment, if price cannot get above 53.25, that could imply a push downward toward that 53.95 zone. And again, this would be the zone where swing bulls want to defend for a shot higher. And you fail to hold that FOMC level, you likely go to the next edge down below, which takes you into 53.63. Lastly, let's take a look at ZB. Here's a look at ZB. ZB has seen a ton of weakness here recently, but we've had a little bit of a bounce just over the last few days. So you can see here, bulls have been defending on numerous attempts. Eventually the stops came out. We hit 146 and bounced. And on this 146, we had a 2-day bounce up. It pushed back above our 147.12s, and yesterday made it support from below, or from above. So right now it's holding. However, we're in a downtrending market, and this bounce has already been rejected off these highs, and that could suggest that this could be a lower high ready for more weakness. So I'd be watching for the stops to come out. Sell stops below 147.12 could open up a retest of 146s with a shot at seeing new lows. The next level below will be the MCVPOC, which is 143.20. So basically, watch 147.12s. That means that bears currently are going to be defending these highs into the midpoint for a shot at running the stops through 147.12 and perhaps lower over the next week. So this is something to watch right here. Bulls currently short-term are trying to defend 147.12s, and a failure to hold it will run those stops. So if we take that higher time frame analysis into the lower time frame chart, here it is. You'll see right here, there is 147.12. Bulls defending it at the moment. Should price come into it, it could still be a short-term buying opportunity. Bears are up here trying to keep 148.04, 148.05 offered. After holding above it and failing to hold, trying to keep it resistance at the moment. So bears are positioned on the opposite edge over here, looking to run the stops through 147.12 and into the next key levels below. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and happy Friday.